Hi everyone, I hope everyone is well. I am going to do a quick video on the Nancyguthrie case, as you can see probably from the thumbnail. 2 days ago I posted on my page, I think it was part 1 of Savannah Guthrie's interview on, is it NBC that she works? She was being interviewed by Huda, and I think they've released parts on different days. And I did put what do you see, if anything, and I put the specific time frame, and actually after like 10 minutes I'd switched off the rest. And I was wondering if anyone would come up with anything that they see. If you've seen the videos that I've done, I've been very straightforward on, okay, a bit covert on certain things, but very straightforward on this whole case. And I also did, maybe a month ago now, whenever they released a reward finally, a video that was a bit sensitive. It was up for a day or two and then I transferred it to members. If you caught it, great. All right. But it's very much like this video, in an element that I think all I could see was damage control. I'm sorry to say that. A lot of people might say, you know, all I see online is, oh, poor Savannah, she's heartbroken. And I don't doubt so, but I see her crying because something else. Of course she's hurt because her mum. I don't believe that she's involved in doing the action or the behind the scenes master or chef, okay? But as you know from my videos, I believe they know. There were so many alarm bells just within the clip that I saw. And okay, firstly, let's just talk about Huda. Huda's face is so excruciating to watch. I couldn't even watch her after I'd seen that first face. It looks like she's been constipated and she's gone to the toilet. And you know when you're constipated and you're hopeful, and then suddenly nothing comes, and it's kind of like she's getting there with the expression, and then it's like a straw back. I don't know if that's how she is, but if that's how she is as a reporter or on telly, I don't know how you watch her. It's just, that's something else. So I've got a few points that I wanted to raise. And you can go back to that post. It's still there, okay? And I was thinking to do this in sort of like clips, all right? But I think my mom's just messaged me as I look at my notes. And she's messaged me what I thought would be the case, but I didn't want to say. Not to do with this, but something else. So I've always said they know, and I still stand by that. There is damage control in this, okay? She had very, you know, yes, I'm not a professional behavior analysis, but she had very pausable, controlled speech. Like where she was even emotional, there was a pausing. But to me, because I see from day one, even before anything has gone, and also I'll get to Sheriff Nanos now, which will maybe start to make sense to a lot of you, that they know, you know. She did say that 2 of the ransom notes she believes were true. And for her to say she believes they were true, that to me says that they had proof that they were true. On our card pull, it says that at least 1 was true, right? We did a card pull on this, and even though I think everyone else was saying it was bogus, well, for her to say at least 2 were true, Either she knows they wasn't and she's lying, or there was truth in that. And I do think that there's truth, because I think even though the ransom is not like a kidnapping for ransom, I believe the person that's done it is for entitlement, revenge, a grudge. That energy is so heavy. So if they can think of people that would have that, and I know that they know, and that's why she said she called her brother and he knew straight away it was kidnapping for ransom. How comes? How can he know? Like, you go to your mum's house, your sister finds blood and etc., which is beyond me. She calls the police. Some people might criticize that, but to be honest with you, I don't know what I would do. I might call the police because it's scary. I might call my sister and say, listen, was you here? Did you take mum to the hospital because there's blood? What is this? But then my sister's way, well, maybe I'd spoken to my sister in the morning and she was like, listen, Zain, I've got to get off because I've got a meeting right now and she's in New York. So I know that it's not my sister. So there could be so many things. I don't like to do conspiracy. And that's why if I say I know, honestly, believe me, she said, my brother said straight away it's kidnapping for ransom. But how does he know? How does he know that? Either they know who did it, but was there a pre-warning by who did it? Like maybe in a joking sense, if too close to home. But he knew, if he knew, there is either a pre-warning they got or inclination that this person is going to do that, right? For me, you would not think of a kidnapping for ransom for your mum. And also the whole setup of this house. The house didn't have cameras. The house, she left the doors unlocked. The house was like a mansion. Savannah in this interview says she could barely walk to the post box sometimes, which makes sense because you remember when I channeled the car energy, it was like she was feeling it very bulky and starting to feel it very bulky and heavy. So I think that makes sense, right? We're getting to know a little bit more about her mobility. Yet you don't have a live-in carer. And cameras, at least cameras. And then if she does have that amount of difficulty, you drop your mum home in the garage. Let's say you just slip through the door. Would you not walk with your mum inside, put the lights on, etc.? Okay, let's say the lights are on inside. For me, I still walk in, but I know some people are very careless. It's the way I've been brought up, okay? You know, make sure my mum's okay. Do you want a cuppa? Do you want me to help you get unchanged, etc.? But so that's something to keep in mind. But the brother knowing this, and she also said about her brother being, I didn't know her brother's camera, I didn't know he's a pilot, but she also said about him being military and intelligence. Go back to one of my comments where I said about I can see somebody intelligence on this, and they risk this by this date getting worse. Monitoring the case and some kind of involvement outside their kind of role. So when that word came up, I was like, I'm not saying it's the brother, but look at the ties. I also think some of these things that is happening in the background with so many people and people calling in and stuff, some of that is perps, network, community, or themselves doing that to get you going round, to get the FBI and everyone going round in circles. The FBI was hoping they could have found DNA in the car. If they find one of the cars, and I mentioned this, and I don't believe it's their personal car, they will be able to track it to the perp. There is background on who, so there's the forefront, like the waiters, etc., and there's the chef. They're so focused on this guy in the camera that I think they're also missing some kind of clues for the tracking of others. So I did channel the car. You can go back to that. I also did the damage control video. If you have access as a member, go back to that and watch it. Then she says something about she saw, I can't imagine her seeing the person, him or she, like on, like above her, towering over her. How does she know there was someone towering over her while she's sleeping, unless she had cameras in her house, in her room, above the bed, which I don't believe she did. It's because they know. And I also could see her while she's talking about this person towering over her. The FBI won't know that exactly either. They can guess the storyline, but 100% they don't know. She could have been going to the bathroom for a pee-pee, for anything, right? She could have been up, sleepless, whatever. But it's kind of like I see her seeing the person towering over her. It's like she can picture the actual person itself, not just like imaginary darkness and a man over her, like the masked person. It's as if she can actually see it. So how does she know that information? Please share with me if you think I'm off my rockers, nutters, whatever. Not only do they know who it is, they know where Nancy is. Okay. And I've said there's so many layers to this case, and it's so hard to explain. I think I've been trying to explain it as much as I can, like the delay tactics that has a different advantage for certain people. But I've shared so many clues that seem to just align. And I know a lot of people on my channel don't like conspiracy, and I've not been one that's conspiracy a theorist. So for example, I was looking at topics to do that could be quick light. I've seen a lot of tarot readers that just grow rapidly by reading on topics like food shortage, the war in Iran, and I'm just like doing general predictions. It seems like a lot of people like harboring on a question like, okay, you want me to read food shortages and do conspiracy? So I was going to actually ask, do you want that kind of stuff? But it's a bit harboring on something and making a story out of something that's there, you know, just adding sugar and spice and stuff. I'm not that type of person. So if I do say something, even if they came out, so this is something I feared from day one, video one, will they catch them all or will they not? And the reason I say that is because I wonder if they're going to catch one that could be involved or is involved, and they disguise it as like the Mexican mafia or to do with Democrats or to do with Republicans or politics, etc. And you can already see that seeping through with Savannah saying, is it because of me? Like, firstly, her brother says, is it kidnapped for ransom? Then she starts going, oh my God, is it because of me? And it's kind of like, how did she think of that straight away? Like, I'd be so shocked. I'd be like, kidnapped for ransom. Okay, I've got 41 million in the thing. But I'd still be like, my mom's okay. She's got money and stuff. So why, what would the point be of that? And if you confirmed it's kidnap of ransom and there's 2 ransom notes, okay, why wouldn't you do an offer? They did such a coded first plea, second plea. I didn't even know what they were asking for, to be honest with you. And then through translation of YouTube channels, they were saying because they wanted proof of life. But if there's 2 ransom notes, at least say, okay, fine, don't do anything to my mom. All right, if you can't send a proof of life, send me, if she doesn't have life, send me this and I'll counter offer you. Just like something. You've not done, you didn't do anything, yet you believe there's 2 true ransom notes. So it's really strange, and it took forever to do a reward, which was beyond me, right? There's people that, you know, us as on the working class, for example, if our mum went missing, would be like, yeah, just offer what you believe needs to be offered. I'll get a loan. I'll do anything. I'll just, even if I'm in debt, I'll just do anything. Just offer it. Yeah, you've got 41 million in the bank waiting, and I presume her brother's pretty well off for what work he used to do. I'm not sure about Annie and Tommaso, because on the cards we got that they could have been having a bit more financial difficulty. And the reason I say that is because I was also surprised on, I wonder how much Savannah actually shares stuff, because I'm surprised her mum had a bit of an older car. Still okay, maybe because she wasn't going to drive much, or she stopped driving, you know. And I did the channeling on the car, by the way. And even Annie has a bit of an older car. So if that was my sister, nothing wrong with it, by the way. If it's now my sister who has that car, nothing wrong with it. But if I'm worth 41 million, I'd be like, you know, sis, get a new secondhand car, or, you know, something. But there's something there with their relationship. So how did she guess straight away, am I the reason? Here we go with the cover up, the damage control. And even though Sheriff Nanos, some of us, like, there's been speculation about him lying, etc. Can you see now the difficulty of his position, of him needing to be very careful on what he says, because I feel like he knows as well, and he can't go out beyond that until they have proof. And don't forget, the beginning of this, there was I don't know if anymore, Kash Patel, Donald Trump, everyone was involved. They're pulled out, you know. Trump has created a massive issue with Iran. Eye for eye is going on. Someone intelligent needs to come in place. Very wrong decision. Iran was quiet, regardless of the chemicals they have, or whatever everyone thinks they have. And now it's an eye for an eye. You can see it, right? I've already made a prediction on this on my community page and mentioned it. But like, so he's busy now. Kash Patel, I don't know where he is. So there was a lot of pressure. And that also pressure was a utilized distraction to delay. And remember, I said they're doing delay tactics. And I kept giving dates of certain dates where if they delayed beyond this, this is the risks. I've also said from the beginning, I'm not saying Savannah don't have grief. There's a point in that video, I can look at it, because it's between 3 and 9 minutes, where I can see so much anger in one eye. I don't know if you spot it. Let me know in the comments. If not, I put specifically where I just read anger in one eye, even though she's crying. So there is anger in her face, okay? So you can imagine that could be on knowing as well, and who's there. I've said from day one, there's going to be some kind of gain at the end of all this. And I just can't wait to see what it is. And like I said, if they try to cover this up, that it's Republicans, Mexican exits, etc., believe me, it's not, right? It's more simple than that. It's not to do with the Mexican mafia. It's not to do with the Democrats, the Republicans. Come on now. If you think that, let me know in the comments. It's my thoughts. I'm sharing my thoughts. We're allowed to disagree. All I ask for is respect. I give you respect. You give me respect. And anyone in the comments, respect overall. That's how I am in life. And I like it to be on the channel as well. But we can disagree. If you saw the last video of the way to utilize this energy, I am psychologically mature. So you see where Nanos is an idiot, but also he's in a pickle. He's in a right pickle, but maybe now it kind of makes sense to you. So the brother says, because I'll kidnap and ransom, and then Savannah goes, it's because of, she doesn't go suddenly, she's like, you think it's because of me? I'm so sorry, mommy, I'm this, I'm that. There's so many red flags. And then she's like, she wants to go back to work. So your mom has been kidnapped for ransom. And and by the way, I know that I believe that within 48 hours, Nanos and the whole FBI team knew this lady was probably no longer with us. I say probably because that's why I'm avoiding channeling, etc., because I don't like to do that sort of stuff right now, okay? But they knew, and I think if we read between the lines of some of the stuff, I've got to go back to anything they've said, I'm going to be able to tell you where exactly they know. So your mom's probably no longer with us, and now you definitely know that your mom's probably no longer with us. You want to go back to the job that caused this? That is just beyond me. Like, even if, okay, well, they can't do it to my mom because they've done it to my mom, but still, is there not like a bitter taste there? Like, no, man, that's enough. Like, my mind would be like, what if they go for my sister, my brother? What if they go for me? What if this? What if that? And anyway, I don't want it. I hate the flipping job now. If this is what it's done, like, would anyone else feel that way? But she's like, no, I want to try to come back. Again, it's only proof of what I'm saying. And I said last time, I was like, if your mum, I think it's over a month ago, I asked, and then there was some response, and I said, I don't think she's been pressurized to return. I think she's choosing to return. Because it would be too much of a risk for them to pressurize her to return, or she doesn't have a job. In the very most, they might have said to her, do you want to take 3 months off and we'll get a replacement or whatever. So she wants to return to the work that ties in with the problem, the crime. She says how great her brother is. I don't know if she says pilot. I know that someone's told me she's pilot, Cameron. Military intelligence. Likewise, my sister, I'm not sure if the word is great. Okay. Likewise, my sister, she's like, I think she says an excellent communicator, intuition. She more or less goes around saying that she picks up on stuff subtly. She might be a bit psychic, etc., which is interesting because they've not called into any psychics for help. If your sister's a bit of a psychic, wouldn't you be interested in that kind of stuff? I find that a bit interesting. Not only that, also remembering they've never been out searching for the mom. For me, I'd still be searching out there for my mom. You know, I might be tired, I might be worn out, I might have to lessen it. I'd still be searching. And on top of that, I'll have private searchers and private investigation, all that money I've got. So she's in those parts where she talks about brother and the sister. It's kind of like, why do we need to know that? This is not like you're recommending your sister for a job or your brother-in-law or your brother. Why do we need to know that? And she makes an exact point, which is okay, fair enough, because I presume it's speculation why the others aren't talking. She's like, every single communication I've done is all three of us. Fine, okay, we can give that, because if you come on the camera or you don't come on the camera and you're in the spotlight with social media, you can do no wrong or you can always do wrong. So maybe she's just saying that it is them as well. And I caught her talking about her mum in the present and the past. That could be because she's so confused and stuff, but I think it's because there's a storyline that she's hiding. Like I said, they know. And so she's trying to control how she delivers. There is one particular line she used, and I felt like she'd been coached to use it. But these are the ones there. They're just from clip that I've seen. And I know there's another part, and there's a part of an hour and a half, or it's all of them combined. I don't know. That was enough for me. So I'd love to hear your thoughts. I'd love to hear if you've seen them all. And maybe if you want me to see the others, I can also go into that. Yeah, I might do card pull on this case further down the line. Thank you if you're a member. Thank you if you support the channel. Thank you if you're a subscriber. Thank you if you ever send a super thanks or you donate directly to the PayPal so that half of it doesn't go here and there. Whatever you do, if you like, if you hype, if you comment, I appreciate if you hype and like. And I appreciate if you subscribe just so that we can grow the channel, okay? And this is what I have for you. I hope you enjoy your lovely weekend and take care. Stay blessed.